There are a lot of videos out there talking about half tons and specifically the Toyota Tundra having a relatively low payload and their limit to tow large amounts because of their payload. So today what we want to do is a real world review on how do you determine what that number really is, and for the Toyota Tundra specifically, and even more specifically for my 2018 Toyota Tundra Platinum four-wheel drive with the modifications I've added to it, how does that work out and what determines that towing capacity? So the first thing we have to look at is our vehicle's stickers. And when we look at the sticker here, we can see it allows for 5 occupants, 2 in the front, 3 in the back. We can also see that it gives us our tire dimensions as well as the recommended pressure. And that recommended pressure is important because that's the number that the manufacturer calculates your payload based upon. So when you're looking at your payload number, which is in the middle there, which is 540 kilograms or 1,185 pounds, the tires need to be at that appropriate pressure in order for that to be accurate. Sometimes the manufacturer will put a sticker on there that reduces the weight additionally. This is if they've done factory add-ons, or even if they've been done at the dealership, they'll sometimes reduce that by that additional amount. So it may say you have to reduce this number by 50 pounds, in which case it wouldn't be 1185, it'd be 1135 that I actually have available for towing capacity. In my case, nothing was added at the factory. So this is the second sticker on the vehicle, and this one is very important because it shows us the gross vehicle weight rating. So what the manufacturer is saying is that our vehicle cannot exceed 7,200 pounds with all occupants, fluids, and whatever cargo or hitch we have attached to it. If we also look at it, it shows gross axle weight rating, which I also think is important and sometimes neglected, but you don't want more than 4,000 pounds of pressure on your front axle and more than 4,150 pounds on your rear axle. You may be wondering, well, how do I find these things out? The only true way to do this is to get your vehicle to a scale and have it weighed. In this case, there are CAT scales all over the country at various truck stops, and it's very easy to pull through and go ahead and have your vehicle weighed and see what your base number is. In this case, I took mine there with myself, my wife, the 2 little dogs that we travel with, and the truck full with all fluids, including gasoline. So let's take a look at the modifications here that have added significant weight to my 2018 Toyota Tundra Platinum. As we start around the side here, the first thing we can see is that I've got Tiger star steps. These steps are about 120 pounds combined, and obviously that's a significant addition. If you look under here, under the wheel well, you can see 2 modifications. One is you can see I did add the TRD sway bar. That added about 30 pounds. The other one that's harder to see just on the other side there is the Firestone Ride Right airbags. As we come around the side here, you can see I did add an aftermarket spray and bed liner. I figure that adds probably about 30 to 40 pounds. And then we're looking at another 30 pounds for the cover here, which is a Tiger bed cover. In addition, you can see in the back here, I've done my Ride Right airbags with a single valve out to the back, just like that. If we're going to think about any other significant modifications on this vehicle, nothing added any significant weight, probably about 10 pounds for my board. That's a divider right there that you see. So all in all, when we add that up, we've got 120 for the star steps, 30 for the cover. That gives us 150, maybe 30 for the down here we can see the TRD sway bar, maybe 30 for that. That gets us up to 180. And spray and bed liner at another 40 puts us at 220. So we're looking at roughly 220 pounds in combined added weight to the vehicle and modifications I've made. Any other modifications I've made in terms of switching out my Platinums for the Tundra mats or switching out to the aftermarket stereo, I think those are even weights, and then there's nothing else of any significant modification that I've done to the vehicle inside or out. So here we can see the results of my vehicle to the CAT scales. We took this over there with myself and my wife and the 2 small dogs that we would travel with. We filled up with fuel and we had the vehicle weighed. We can see that both our steer axle and drive axle are below the numbers that we're set at. We can also see that our gross weight is 6,540 pounds. When we subtract that from our 7,200 pounds, that leaves us with 660 pounds of total available hitch and cargo weight to put anything else in the vehicle that we travel with. So this is the vehicle that we selected to tow with out west. It is a Trailmanner It tows very, very well. It is relatively light, coming in at only about 3,000 pounds and maybe 4,000 pounds fully loaded, although it is above the number that Toyota does require a weight distribution hitch for this vehicle. And this is how we loaded it, and it was certainly easy to tow and towed and tracked very well. We had a great time traveling with our Trailmanner, but we thought something a little more substantial would suit us better in the future, so we wanted to select something that we could still tow safely with our Toyota Tundra, and that led us to inspecting some other potential RVs in the process. We found a 2018 Lance 2375, and now what we needed to do was figure out if this was going to work with our tow vehicle, our 2018 Toyota Tundra, and this meant looking into things just a little bit further. Let's take a look at the sticker in our RV now. The sticker on our RV shows that we have 1,626 pounds of cargo capacity. That's based on 7,000 pounds of gross vehicle weight rating, which is divided in two for 3,500 for each of the axles. This also includes a full freshwater tank of 45 gallons. However, it does not include or is based on an empty gray water tank of 45 gallons and black water tank of 45 gallons. If those two tanks are full, we must remove another 750 pounds of cargo capacity from that 1,626 number. Taking a look at the results after we had our vehicle weighed again with the tow vehicle and the RV together with a weight distribution hitch, we can see that our gross weight of 13,140 was below the total number of 16,000 pounds. Combined towing, our trailer axle was below 7,000 pounds, and both our steer axle and drive axle were below the 4,000 pounds and 4,150 allotted to them. This did include a full freshwater tank in the RV, however, the black water and gray water tanks were empty at the time. So as we look at these numbers, we can see that we're actually at 7,320, which is 120 pounds over 7,200, so we are over our payload capacity. As we examine that, we did also have a bunch of gear in the truck bed that would ordinarily not travel with us, and that totaled roughly about 350 pounds of what was in our truck bed at the time. So these are all of the items that were in our truck bed. Now the 5-gallon gas tank with the fuel in it will stay in there. So of the 350 pounds we had, 45 will still be there. This reduces us to about roughly 300 pounds, and then when we subtract the 120 we were over, that leaves us about roughly 180 pounds to spare in our vehicle. We do plan to add a generator to this vehicle, and that would put us right at about exactly our payload number, or maybe just a little bit below it. So here is the final setup that we have. It is our 2018 Toyota Tundra Platinum with four-wheel drive mated to our 2375 Lance travel trailer, also a 2018. When we combine the two with our weight distribution hitch, which weighs approximately 100 pounds, and the items that we've added to the vehicle along with myself, my wife, and our two small dogs, which weigh about 400 pounds combined and 220 for those additional items, we are right at our maximum payload number. So if I were hauling any more occupants or any more load in the truck itself, I would select something with a higher payload or perhaps a 3/4 ton vehicle. If I were looking to take a larger travel trailer, I would probably select something with a higher payload and again a 3/4 ton vehicle. I would not necessarily go to another 1/2 ton, even though it may have a higher payload rating. The simple reason for that is I think the simple law of physics is a lighter vehicle with higher payload, the more you're towing something that's heavier, the more dangerous it becomes on the road. There are vehicles that are other 1/2 tons that are rated for that. There are vehicles that are certainly capable of handling more payload than our Tundra, but for the purposes of using it and rating this vehicle, I think this is the maximum amount, and it works well for us. If you've liked this video, look for some more upcoming videos from KedRev's Reviews, where we try to give you real-world numbers, real-world reviews on things we actually use on a daily basis.